Hi, we are here to discuss something very important and pertinent today, and that is water. We are just through with observing the World Water Day, but what I personally think is that Water Day should be observed every minute or every second. So now we have with us Mrs. Vanitha Mohan, the Managing Trustee of Shirutuli, and the State General Secretary of BJP, Mrs. Vanathi Srinivasan, to discuss about certain pertinent things that have, that has been a challenge. So we are going to speak about encroachments of lakes or the water bodies, desilting of channels, and the challenge wherein there's a large-scale discharge of sewage into tanks and water bodies, not just in the cities but in rural areas as well. So ma'am, is there water? Can the water bodies be restored? Shirutuli is working a lot towards restoring water bodies across Coimbatore. So can the water bodies be restored? Is there water?
There's plenty of water, plenty for many more generations if we manage it properly. After all, it is not for nothing that so many water bodies were created many years ago. Andalukku Thanni, there has been water there. So that is why we have more than 45 water bodies right up to Coimbatore itself, not talking about the rest of the Noyal River Basin. So absolutely there is water.
Okay. Now let me ask Vanthi ma'am. Ma'am, is it more of a tiff between the devil and the deep sea? Now, water bodies on one side there's large scale encroachment. On the other side sand mining romba jastiya irukku. So what do you have to say about it as and how do you think we will see a solution to this?
நீங்கள் சொன்ன மாதிரி ஒரு பக்கம் என்க்ரோச்மெண்ட்ஸ், இன்னொரு பக்கம் சாண்ட் மைனிங். சாண்ட் மைனிங் இட்ஸ் பேசிக்லி ரிவர் பாடிஸ் இந்த மாதிரி இருக்குது. பட் லோக்கல் வாட்டர் பாடிஸ் இருக்கக்கூடிய சின்ன சின்ன பாண்ட்ஸ், லேக்ஸ், இந்த மாதிரி இடங்கள்லாம் சாண்ட் மைனிங் ஒரு பெரிய இஷ்யூ கிடையாது. அங்கே இருக்கக்கூடிய வண்டலை எடுத்துக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு ப்ரொசீஜர் அப்படிங்கிறது ஏற்கனவே ஜென்ரேஷன்ஸாக இருந்தது. It is involving the local community people. It is not only taking away the sand, it is involving them to protect also. So there are procedures to involve the local community to preserve the water bodies. So sand mining is a big issue because the government revenue generation is one part. It is only a 10% revenue is going to the government. Apart from that, 90% is going to various channels of including officials, politicians, government, who are running the government. So there are a lot more issues about the sand mining, and we are expecting and we are demanding the government that some transparent system has to be adopted, and not only that, the alternative way for sand that has to be introduced to the people, that has to be utilized.
So now that BJP is fairly becoming prominent in Tamil Nadu, do you see that if your government comes to power, you will find some way out?
Yes, definitely.
Now what do you think you will be able to do?
Definitely we can do that, and it is not only that only Tamil Nadu BJP is, yes, of course we are trying for that, but Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, wherever BJP government is there, they are giving utmost importance to the water bodies. And in Gujarat, 1,70,000 check dams are constructed, and even Kutch district, always it is a dry district, but now the situation has been changed. So we can assure to the people, and BJP is having a different approach towards the water bodies.
Okay, so now that you spoke about check dams, I will pose this question to Madam Vanitha Mohan. Ma'am, you had constructed a check dam recently. What about the funds? How have you been able to manage it?
I'm sure you'll understand and appreciate the fact that a project like this costs a lot of money, because if the government had to take up this project and implement it, it would run into hundreds of crores, right? So initially what we did was, it was purely corporate funding. People who had some funds to spare as part of their CSR funding came forward to help. And then we also launched a campaign. Basically, we wanted to involve all the citizens of Coimbatore in this project, because water belongs to everybody. So we launched this campaign called Noyelukku Nooru, through which we collected about less than 1 crore of rupees. And we have constructed check dams. We have constructed small gully plugs, as they call it, along the streams. And there are so many water bodies that we have desilted. And funds is one thing which is hampering our progress. So, because there's a lot more that can be done if we had access to funds.
So you mean to say that a large portion of the Noyelukku Nooru funds has been diverted towards the check dams?
Yes.
Okay.
The check dam that we constructed in Nandangarai, that was part of the, it was a 50-50 Namakaname Thittam. That alone costed us 75 crores. Okay. 75 lakhs, sorry, 75 lakhs.
Okay. And Vanitha ma'am, now talking about encroachments, there's a lot of allegations that, you know, on Isha and Karunya, that they have encroached a lot of streams. What do you have to say about that?
See, whoever encroaches, you are naming certain institutions. Apart from that, there are 100 more people. It is not only institution, even apart from that, wherever the water bodies are there, the encroachment is a very big a challenge to maintain or preserve the water bodies. And already we are having several laws for that, because we can say that Encroachment Act is separate act, how to remove the encroachments, how to give an alternative arrangements for the poor people who are not able to sustain their livelihood. Suppose if they switch over to some other places, there are clear guidelines, there is a clear act about that. But how the government is functioning is a question now.
True.
So it is not only the institutions or the private persons. Apart from that, whoever it is, there must be a very, very strong and strict law to preserve these water bodies. And not only that, when there is a law, to enforce it, to implement this, there should be a strong commitment in the government to enforce it.
So you are saying that it is squarely the lackadaisical attitude of the government that has not taken,
it is true.
Done much about the encroachment.
Because of politics. The government is not dare enough to remove the encroachments. Even in the recent judgment of the Madras High Court to remove the Nayal encroachments, district collector is repeatedly asking the adjournments in the court. But in action, there is nothing has happened so far.
Okay, so let me.
But coming to encroachments, Vidya, I would also say we have a responsibility as citizens. I think people also have to appreciate the fact that by encroaching into water bodies, encroaching into streams, we are digging our own grave. Right? What extent of encroachment can be decided only by the government, because we need to survey it.
So has
in this regard, I would like to add more, yes, because we are telling about the private encroachments in the water bodies. What about the government? See, government is a major encroacher in the water bodies for the past years.
About that?
See, I can tell, even in Kalapatti Pond, when during my yatra, one of my party office bearer, he was telling about Kalapatti area. He was saying that Panchayat Union office was constructed in the pond. And not only that, even in my village, Uliyambalayam, one blind school was constructed in the pond. There were 4 ponds. Now 3 has gone. Only one is alive. It is all encroached by the government.
Okay, ma'am, so to add on to that, see, there has been a lot of, allegations against Isha in terms of encroaching and constructing in the elephant corridor and so on and so forth, despite the fact that, Jaggi Vasudev has stoutly denied it. But then the presence of the, Prime Minister to inaugurate the Adiyogi statue has kind of given a sweetmeat to the opposition parties. Stating that, when there are so much of allegations, why should the Prime Minister take time off his busy schedule to come down here and inaugurate the Adi statue? Do you think he could have avoided that?
No. See, when there is an encroachment, whether it is elephant corridor or it is a water body, it is completely under the purview of the state government. Why they are not taking action?
They have not taken action?
Yes. Why? Suppose if the real problem is there, the real encroachment or any kind of a violation is there, it is up to the state government to take action. But how the Prime Minister visit can safeguard those activities? Okay. When there is a violation or any, I mean, other than that, whatever the problem is there, definitely state government can issue notice, they can proceed well. But what prevented them?
There are also, people say that, the Prime Minister is probably not aware of all these things. So, can we take that, ma'am? Isn't he not aware?
I think Prime Minister, it is his schedule or his visit is completely, it is guided by the officials, and when a Prime Minister comes, definitely all the government machinery would have given the proper report. Informations.
Okay. So, ma'am, you have alleged that it's been over 50 years and nothing much has been done in terms of conservation by the previous government, and going by the innumerable number of challenges that they've been facing from all quarters. What do you think that Thamarayin Dagam Tirkum Yathirai could probably do? How do you propose to achieve what the unachievable?
See, there are several demands. Our Yatra has demanded the state government of desilting of Sirvani, Bhavani and Pillur dams, and desilting of all the ponds and lakes in our district, and apart from that, preventing the sewage water from mixing Noyal and Bhavani river. There are main demands. When at the end of Yatra, we demanded the state government to give a white paper about all the water bodies that are in our district, about their present situation, and there is a chance for regeneration, because there are central government scheme is there, RRR scheme. We could able to access those funds with the help of the state government. But what the state government is doing, we don't know. When there is no proper project study or report, definitely we cannot access the funds of the central government. For that, I don't think that the state government is giving much importance to that. So these are all the demands, that a political demands, that as a political party that we are putting in front of the state government. We are expecting, we hope that the state government must act on that.
Okay. Now, Vanitha ma'am, with regard to discharge of sewage water and garbage which gets clogged in the channels, and we have these issues of dumping debris and garbages in tanks as well. Now, you've been kind of literally battling it out. Have you seen any kind of change, and what exactly do you need the machineries, the government machineries to do to kind of put an end to this? There seems to be no deterrence whatsoever, because every time we've been talking about it, we've been raising a hue and cry, but it seems to be happening over and over again.
When you see pictures of foreign countries, have you seen sewage water, garbage anywhere?
No.
When you see pictures of India, what do you first see?
Lots of.
You see slums, you see garbage, you see sewage, and this is what you see. And I'm sure there's a lot of technology available that can turn sewage into non-potable water, which can be used for non-potable purposes like agriculture, industry and so on. I think it is very important, the time has come when we have to start thinking of converting sewage into non-potable water. I think it is a big wealth that we have, considering the population, the huge population that we have in India. Sewage and garbage are both two very good sources of wealth, which can be converted into meaningful purposes.
Right. Ma'am, that's what I told you. We've heard you speaking about it a lot, but has it gone anywhere? Have you gone anywhere?
No, as part of the smart city concept, what they have promised is that sewage treatment plants are also on the anvil. So we hope that something will happen, because if you look at the quality of the groundwater, it's very, very appalling, very dismal. Out of the 100 wards, only about 4 or 5 wards have potable water. The rest are all contaminated. So I think it's time that we did something about treating sewage.
Okay, and coming back to encroachments, there's also an allegation that the Krishnamurthi Tank, the Tamil Nadu Agricultural University's experimental farmland, is up on the water body. So what do you have to say about that?
There are so many institutions, probably at that point in time they never thought there was so much of land available. and this is very close to the Tamil Nadu Agricultural University. So probably they didn't think too much about having their experimental farm there. It is not just Tamil Nadu Agricultural University. You also have a school there. You also have the civil services go down. So it's not just TNAU. It's like ma'am said, there's so much of encroachment by the government which has happened over a period of time. It is not particular to any party, you know, it has happened over a period of time.
Even
but now I think there's a lot more consciousness about not wanting to encroach.
So ma'am, is it time for us to wake up, and if we have to move out these institutions, I mean, how laborious is that task, and will we be able to do it?
Yes, definitely it's the biggest challenge, because it is when time passes, even Singanallur bus stand that is being constructed over the pond, that is Kamala Mill pond, there are a lot more water bodies that are vanishing in front of our eyes. In the past 25 years, I could able to see my village. That 4 ponds, the 3 has gone. So now, after even during my yatra, wherever I go, when I started interacting with the people, when I am asking their question, where is our temple? Yes, they are answering, this is here. Then I am asking, where is the temple tank? They are saying, yes, garbage is there or something is there. But we are asking, where is our pond? They could not able to answer. So now the people are started thinking about that, and after this yatra, I am getting so many letters from the education institutions saying that we would like to involve our NSS NCC students. You just identify the area that we will send our students, and apart from that, there are a lot more NGOs. Kurichi Padhagappu Kulam, Sulur Neer Melanmai Padhagappu Iyakkam. There are a lot more NGOs. They are coming forward and saying that as being a political party, when they are taking up this issue, when they are concerned about the water bodies, we are ready to support you. So this kind of a response that I am getting.
Ma'am, when it comes to Muttanakulam, there is a large-scale encroachment there, and we believe that the encroachers have been allotted tenements by the Slum Clearance and Development Board. But they seem to be stuck on to that place. So do you see?
From what we understand, they have not been given their allotments yet. What we are also told was the tenements are getting ready, and once they are ready, they'll be able to give it. But I think there is some confusion in the list of people there also. I'm not very sure. But if those encroachments go, there will be a sizable amount of water from Araspuram, which during the monsoon, there's enough water which can fill up the tank. Now if you look at the tank, it has only sewage water. Now the runoff water from Araspuram, starting with Sai Baba Colony, can reach this particular tank.
Okay. Vanitha ma'am, there is also an allegation that in the tenements are occupied by people, political cadres, members who are associated with
political parties.
So, I mean, what do you have to say about that? Because
it is a fact.
If that is going to happen, then the encroachers will not be in a position to move into these, and so the encroachments will remain. So there is no point talking about replacing the encroachers. So what do you have to say about that?
See, it is a fact that it is not that 100% only political party cadres or members are occupying or encroaching the lands. The another fact is that it is sure that some political patronage is there for all the encroachments. But for removing that, see, even in the past, we could able to see that only because of the court order, the district administration is moving or acting. It is not that on their own, that removing the encroachers and giving their alternative sites. There is some commitment must be there from the government, that strong action has to be taken even before the encroachment. Why that has to be allowed? That is my question. Why it has to be allowed? Then after some time, they are being allowed to live there for decades. Then after that, constructing another tenements for them, and it is also a public money for that. So why this has been happen for so many years? Yes, there is a political patronage for this kind of an encroachments, and now I think because of the court order, and it is because of the civil society people, like a lot of NGOs, they are giving a pressure to the government to save the water body. Somehow, somewhere they have to act. Now it is a time.
Okay. The former Chief Minister had given a lot of impetus to water harvesting, and she had also made it mandatory. So, how effective has it been? And both in terms of taking into consideration private as well as government buildings, and do you have any modern new techniques for this water harvesting per se?
Yes, in the past, there was so much of space available. That's how they were able to create all these water bodies, ponds, lakes, and so on. But today, space is a constraint. Cities have grown, towns have grown, villages also have grown. There is very little space where the water can percolate and get into the ground. For instance, 100 millimeters of rainfall falling on 1 hectare of land can harvest about 1 million liters of water. So you can imagine how much we have in 250 square kilometers of this region. That much of water is just going for waste. I mean, I don't think even 10% of the water is finding its way into the water bodies. So the best system is creating rainwater harvesting pits in open spaces, along roads, and school compounds. There's so much of water stagnation that happens during a monsoon. So all that water just evaporates, goes for waste. What we have done in Sirithuli is about 600 rainwater harvesting structures is what we have constructed, and the results are phenomenal. Not a drop of water goes for waste. Everything goes into the pit, and then it reaches your aquifers. Lastly,
Vanitha ma'am, do you see Sirithuli becoming a statewide mass movement? I mean, do you have patronage from cities other than Coimbatore?
Yes, plenty. Okay. Especially now, if you look at the scenario, there's acute water scarcity across the state. There's so much of water scarcity. Recently I read somewhere that before independence, before 1947, Madras Presidency had 50,000 tanks, water bodies, tanks, lakes, and so on. And now, according to PWD records, they have only about less than 19,000. Most of them dysfunctional. So you can imagine the amount of water this particular state had. Out of 32 districts, more than 25 districts have at least about 2 to 3 rivers. So you can imagine the amount of water that is available here. And we've had a lot of inquiries. Yesterday we had a team of people from Thuthukudi, and then people even in Chennai. They are very interested in taking up the Chembrambakam lake, and I think there's large scale awareness among people. We'll be more than glad to guide and support people, to give them assistance.
In what means would you be able to?
We can only give them expertise and share whatever we have over the last 14 years of our experience dealing with water bodies. We can share it with them. We'll be more than happy to share it with them. After all, water belongs to everybody. So we need to have local groups coming forward to to champion the cause.
Even for me personally, when I took up this yatra on the first day of yatra, we have decided to clean or desilt some ponds. In that way, Sirithuli only helped us to identify the pond and to in a technical way how to clean it, how to desilt, and how many feet it has to be gone. These are the technical support that we have got it from the Sirithuli.
And I think Tamil Nadu government also recently during the Tamil Nadu budget, they have taken up water bodies very seriously. So I think Tamil Nadu government is also on the right path. So with the help of the government, if local support groups start taking it up, I think soon we'll be out of the woods.
So going by the response that BJP's recent initiative, which is Tamarai Dagam Teerkum Yathirai, has had, and the kind of people engagement that Sirithuli, the organization that is working towards conservation of water bodies, has seen, it speaks a lot in terms of the awareness that has been created, and COE Post would definitely work with anyone who is working towards bringing back water to Coimbatore. Thank you.